So TRVL, what can I say? It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down, goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down. The journey of our lovely TRVL. I'm playing around with these Elliott waves and let's have a look at the daily candles first. If my stream doesn't lag me out. So yesterday's daily candle was actually good. It was a good candle, to be honest with you. Look at that. It was a red wide-bodied doji. We held this daily level here. That candle, that daily candle held. Immediately sold off into this daily level here. And prices bounced back. We have to see how today's candle closes, but I wasn't bearish with yesterday's candle. It is expected when you get a push up that you have a little bit of profit take. There was a little rejection here. See the previous day high. We had a little swing failure of the previous day high candle, and then we had a little bit of a sell-off, which was normal. We are back testing 9 cents. Effectively, that's what's happening on TRVL. We're having a little bit of back test. I'm not sure I expected the back test so soon. I thought possibly we could go higher and then come back. But actually what's happening is we're having a much earlier back test of 9 cents to see if it holds as support. This is a real test. If we don't hold 9 cents as support, again, it's the same as I've always said. The price, it's just not ready to go up. Yeah, it will you'll end up giving people an opportunity to accumulate lower. It won't look good because if you don't hold 9 cents, you're going right back down. Quite simply that. If you don't go up, you go down. Let me have a look at. I mean, nothing's really changed as far as the way the price is moving on the higher time frames. That was a very bullish weekly candle into a higher time frame pivot. Fib time. I think that's a strong pivot now. That's a strong hold of a key support level. It doesn't mean that we're going to go up. It just means that we've back tested a really strong support line. That's what that means. So that's the 236. Okay, we've come into the 382 and we've seen a little bit of a reaction. I think that's normal. I did think maybe we would have enough bullish impulse. So sometimes what you get, and this was one idea that I had, was you'll get such an impulsive move with volume, which we're having increasing volume. So the continuation, I was thinking to myself, if the volume continues, then you can just push right up. And then in the future, we can come back and back test the 382. So it doesn't, you don't ignore it. It's still there. But I was just thinking that was my preferred price action, to just almost, you could argue, skip a level. I didn't really see crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking, was there much trapped volume here? I mean, that's basically what's happening now. If you see how the price has reacted, you're coming into previous volume here, and it gives people an opportunity to exit at break even. And maybe that's what's happening. People are just setting orders and they're just exiting at break even if they're trapped, and we haven't cleared that yet. You're going to have this kind of dilemma all the way until you clear the highs of historic price action. But, you know, when I look at this price action here, if I zoom in a little bit, yeah, I mean, it does make sense. Look, I mean, I did have a level marked off as well, I think. Oh, I didn't mark it off. I should have, because you have a couple of daily levels here. I didn't really mark off the daily levels. I should have. Let me just do that now. I think it's better they've been cleared now. If my internet works, yeah. So actually, look, we've come into a daily level. It's holding as resistance just above the 382. So it's effectively its resistance until it's flipped. And luckily I did that because we have another daily level slightly higher up, which hasn't been tapped yet. We haven't reached that level, not on KuCoin. Potentially we've reached that level on another exchange like MEX. MEX went a little bit higher. No, it didn't. What about Gate? Did it go higher? Nope. Possibly Bybit. Let me see what it looks like on Bybit. See these levels here. So it just goes to show that even though there aren't any necessarily any fib levels, you've got daily levels and they're not being ignored. You see that? They're not being ignored. So we can't ignore them. It's just, we just bear that in mind. Do not ignore higher time frame levels all the way down to the daily level. And so you see on Bybit, that's actually good, even though it looks like a little bit of a rejection, which it is. You're clearing liquidity. You're taking the liquidity, the price reacts, and then we're looking for another attempt effectively. And that's how we're going to get through these levels with multiple attempts. I think right now the key for TRVL is to hold support on this correction. Okay, we have to hold support, and it's a test. You know, you go up, you hit resistance, you come back down, you test support, you back testing support levels, and effectively you just have to see when the selling stops and when the buying resumes. That's basically what you're seeing. And as we go up through these historic levels, we're going to get a lot of this until we can clear the last ones, and then we're in price discovery. And that's really when the price of TRVL is going to go high very quickly. The way to clear these levels is with increasing volume and increasing interest, which we're starting to get. And it also, the other thing to bear in mind is that we're getting a lot of attention now, and so a lot of people, a lot of crypto people are looking to enter, and they have entered. Maybe they entered in this rise, and for most people, they may be thinking like a 50 or 60% increase in value is enough. They may have just jumped onto the bandwagon, and then they have like a 50% increase in value, which is a lot. If they aped in, that's a lot. And then they will just take profit. They won't even hesitate. So as you can see, the sell volume is quite high too. You know, it's if you have good buy volume, but you also have a good sell volume. Considering we have quite high sell volume, the price is still on the highs. That's actually a good sign, as long as we hold support. It's all about whether we're able to hold support or not. And I don't necessarily think the news from KuCoin helped, because obviously there's a little bit of hesitation, and most of our volume has been coming in from KuCoin. So nothing really changes. Like, there's no reason to panic at all, not right now. And I think if Bitcoin does make another attempt for the highs, which I'm possibly expecting, then I think this will also make another attempt. Now, I was looking at the Elliott wave, and so with Elliott waves, you have to keep on reevaluating and updating them. You can't just say, this is it, this is nothing's, you know, like, because in some ways it's quite subjective. And so let me just get rid of these now. Put those into my levels folder. I can get rid of that retracement. Wave one, where's the wave one? I get rid of that fib time. Maybe there's extension. Okay. So this is the thing. There's your 1, there's your 2, there's your 3, there's your 4. We're in the 5. And this whole arm is your wave 1. Did I do that? Sorry, I am getting a little bit of lag. Yeah. This whole arm becomes your wave 1. Let me change the color. Green, I can make it a little bit. Then you're looking for a wave 2 for the big wave 3. Okay, however big that wave 3 is, that's what you're looking for. Big wave 3, 4, and 5 potentially. Okay, no one knows how this is going to behave and how this is going to look like in the future. Usually the wave 3 is the biggest wave. Usually it's the most impulsive wave, because after people see a wave 1, then they're getting themselves ready for wave 3, and wave 5 is usually the latecomers, and they're the ones who can get burnt because they come late. Okay, every bullish impulsive wave, so wave 1, wave 3, and wave 5, consists of 5 waves. And every corrective wave, so wave 2 and wave 4, consists of corrective waves. And usually the corrective waves are 3 waves ABC, usually. But then sometimes you can get different formations of multiple ABCs, or even an ABCDE, okay? And also you can get irregular corrections too. There are rules that have to be abided by with Elliott waves, and I'll just quickly explain the rules. I'll keep on explaining them so it becomes muscle memory. Okay, rule number 1 is that the 2, after you begin the waves, that's the 0. Rule number 1 is that the wave 2 cannot come underneath the 0. So the 0 becomes your invalidation line for the initial wave 1. If the 2 comes down under the 0, that completely invalidates that wave 1, and then you have to start again. So that's rule number 1. So the 2 cannot come underneath the 0 where you initially impulse. That's rule number 1. And rule number 2 is that after you've created the 3, the 4 cannot come underneath the peak of the 1. That's the peak of the 1. The 4 cannot come underneath the peak of the 1. It has to find support on a horizontal line. That's rule number 2. And then rule number 3 is that the wave 3, so from 2 to 3, cannot be the shortest wave. So if you have a wave 1 and then you have a short wave 3 like that, then you're going to end up with a much shorter wave 5. Yeah, because this wave 3 cannot be the shortest. It has to be at least the second shortest or biggest, or the biggest. It can't be the shortest. So if you have a big wave 1, then and the wave 3 is shorter than the wave 1, then the wave 5 has to be shorter, as long as you have a nice clear back test than the 4 on the 1. That's how you know that that's correct. Otherwise, if you go under, then something else is happening, probably more some kind of extended correction. Yeah, and the wave 3 hasn't started yet. So if you have a longer wave 3 than 1, then the 5 can be longer than the 3. It can be shorter still, but potentially longer too. As long as the 4 doesn't come underneath the 1, then that would be correct, and then the 5 can be longer as long as the 3 is not the shortest. So those are the 3 rules. And then an observation is that in the 5 waves, or should I say in the 3 bullish impulsive waves, usually one of them is extended. Usually one of them is extended. So if you have 2 mediocre waves where 3 is only slightly above 5, then it's probable that the 5 will be an extended one, like that, as long as the 3 is not the shortest. Okay, if you have a really extended 3, as long as the 4 doesn't come back underneath the 1, if the 3 is really extended, like really extended, then you may end up with a less extended 5. So one of them is usually the extended one. One of them is usually the most impulsive one. If it's the 1, and you end up with a less of a 3, then you could end up with a much less 5. Yeah. So usually one of them is the most extended one, and that's just Elliott waves, basically. That's in a gist. And so in that, with that in mind, I'm going to have a look at the Elliott waves. Okay. Just give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Give me another 2 minutes. Sorry, nature calls. Okay, sorry about that. I'm back. I'm drinking tea, so you know what that means. So now that I've kind of explained Elliott waves now, because we're in what seems to be a wave 1, potentially we're at the end of our wave 1, and that's why I wanted to re-explain the rules so that you're familiar. Now, this is the wave 1, this is the 2. So I did I've got the wave 1 ending here. because I'm seeing that this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so it ends here. Then you have like an A, B, C correction there for the impulse out. So that's your wave 1. Did the trend based, and we had a really expansive move. Like honestly, going up all the way to there was very expansive, which makes me think that this wave 3 was the expansive wave in comparison to the 1. We went all the way up to the 2.618. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking this is the expansive one, the 3. Now, just because that's expansive doesn't mean the 5 can't be expansive, even more expansive, because 3 is not the shortest. That's all. That's the main thing. But it does make me think that even though I was hoping that 5 could possibly go even further to 17, which would be nice, I think we should have pushed further to get there, and it hasn't happened. Okay, so I'm just kind of analyzing what's happening in the present. Okay, so you have your wave 3, and then you have your ABC. So let me hide that now. This is your ABC. ABC. That completes your wave 4. The wave 1 ended here, so that confirms the rules. It doesn't come underneath the 1. The 4 doesn't come underneath the 1, so that's correct. You have a very deep 4 correction. And then we start again. We're on our wave 5 now. So again, because we're in a wave 5, I'm looking for 5 waves within the impulsive bullish wave 5. And you just have to count. You just have to count and see. So what does that mean? Well, if I start counting now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B. Is that an ABC there, or does 5 go higher to there? And now we're in an ABC here. Nope, that's not correct. Let me do this again. Let me zoom in a little bit more. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see, look, so the 4 doesn't come underneath the 1. I'm kind of basing it on the bodies, really, not necessarily on the wicks, just simply because in a low liquidity environment, the wicks can be a little bit misleading. I'm basing it on the closes more than I am on the wicks. Expansive 1, correction. Expansive 3, not as big as the 1, so the 5 has to be smaller. It's a 1 to the 3 has to be look, so the 1, the 0 to the 1 to the 2, the 3 only gets to the 786. You see that? The 3 gets to the 786, so the 3 is smaller. This is, the whole thing is a wave 5. This is the wave, first wave of the wave 5. That's your 1, 2, the 3. The 3 is smaller than the 1. You have a 4. Is that the 5? Let me zoom in a little bit more to see. Usually you have like 5 waves, but look, it's just one green. It's just one green push. So it's not very easy to do this really. I am thinking the 5 ends there, here, where this 1 to 1 ends. This 1 to 1, and then you have a smaller 3, and then you have a very small 5, and you're in a ABC here. So this is your ABC. It's like an extended flat. That's your wave 2. You have your 1, you have your 2, all the way down to probably there. And this is the final wave 5 that I'm doing. So there's your 1, there's your 2. Is that your 3? Is this your 4? And then are we going to be as another 5 now? If we lose, you see, the thing is that if we lose, right now the 4 is coming perfectly to the 1 that I've got here. See that? So as far as I'm concerned, that would be correct. If that was the 3, the 4 comes perfectly to where I've got the 1 ending. The 1 is actually in this final for 5th leg. The 1 is the most impulsive. The 3 is smaller, and therefore you'd be expecting to the 5 to also be shorter than the 3. That's kind of what you're expecting. If this was to happen. This is correct at the moment. And potentially in that move up, you have 5 waves. Let me have a look. One, 2, Let's do potentially, look. One, two, three, four, five. It's kind of a bit messy, but there's potentially 5 there. As long as the 5 isn't bigger than the 3, that would be fine. So it wouldn't be if the 4 ended there and these wicks are just ignored. Just did it to the body. The 5 would be shorter. That would complete your 3. And the 3 is shorter. See, 3 is shorter. Where does the 3 end? Let me do it exactly. ABC to there. Almost to the 786. Sorry about that noise. My niece is in the background coughing because she's got COVID or something. Who knows? Or smoking. Who knows? If we lose this 4 line, then we're looking at something else, okay? Because you have to hold the 4. The 4 has to hold above the 1 if this is correct. Otherwise, if we lose that 4, then actually we have a first impulse wave and we're looking at a complicated ABC, 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 whatever, like a really complicated correction. And we haven't actually I mean, then that would have been your 5 waves, and now we're just correct. It's a really messy correction, and that would have been the end of the 5th wave. You had your 3, and that was a 5. Okay, that's also possible. Like that is also possible. I'm thinking maybe we have. The thing is that it was quite impulsive. You know, this is all quite impulsive. It's very weird to correct and be impulsive. Yeah, but you know. This is crypto, anything can happen. I am seeing 5 waves. That's why I'm thinking that is a wave. That's the wave 3. The wave 1 was the biggest one. That was really impulsive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you have, that's correct. This looks like it's forming the 4 to be correct. That's your 2, the ABC. You have the 5 waves up. And now we're correcting A, B, C. Okay. 1. Now we have to count 1. This could be the 2. One of these waves is going to be impulsive, and I'm not sure which one. This first one was an impulse, if that was a wave. If that was our final wave, that wasn't impulsive. Anyway, I think you guys are getting the idea of what I'm suggesting, that potentially this last 5th wave isn't going to be as crazy impulsive. And the reason why I'm suggesting that is because this wave 1 of this final 5th wave was the most impulsive. And so the wave 3 here was shorter. If we had more of a wave 3 here, we really needed to push, actually. And I was thinking, with the volume that was coming in here, with the flat correction that we experienced here, I was thinking that we should be pushing to about 15 cents. Make a high on the weekly, and we have a really nice 5th correction all the way up to 17.5 cents. That's what I was thinking. That would have been really nice to go all the way up, you know, to have a correction maybe back down to there, and then really push up. And that would have been a really nice, powerful final wave. I think in the context of this wave, which was this 3, it probably doesn't make sense. Probably doesn't make sense because this 3 was quite expansive. When you compare the 3 to the 1, this 3 was actually really expansive. It went all the way to the 2.618. And so only one of the waves of the bullish impulsive waves are usually the expansive ones. So for that to go to my idea of up there, it'd also be quite expensive. You know, it'd be going up to the 1.61. It is an expansion. It'd be quite expensive and probably doesn't work. And actually you can see that here the 3 has come into some confluence between the 786 and the 1-to-1 on this trend-based fib. I've roughly drawn this. So this could be complete right now. This could be the 5th and final wave of the 5th wave of the 1st wave right now, what we're experiencing now. And we just have to see how far this can go. Now, what does that mean? I don't know. Because we don't know what the correction is going to be like. Okay, but let's just say that this is correct, and it's always good to revise Elliott waves just to keep a track of it. Call that wave 5. Do I have a wave 5? I don't. I have a wave 5 here. Oh, I have a wave 5 there. Get rid of that. Prefer this one. We have a wave 5 here. that would be the end of the month. Maybe, I don't know how long it's going to take. And everything has to do with Bitcoin as well. And then we see a pullback potentially. Okay. And I think the pullback is going to be very dependent on Bitcoin. And depending on how far Bitcoin can pull back, it's going to be very important to see what Bitcoin does. So rename that to BW. And then let me just get rid of that tremendous time. Potentially the correction will end. So I've done the correction from 1 to 3 to 4. And I've got a fib time at about 12th of February where we should see the low for the end of the correction, for the beginning of the wave 3. That's what I've got in mind. But let me just get rid of that for now. Let me get rid of this extension for now. Potentially this is what I'm looking at now. Yeah, something like that. If that's your wave 1 from there to there, the rules are that you can't, if this is your wave 1 now, from here to wherever we end here, wherever the 5 ends, that'll be your wave 1. Quite simply, you just can't come underneath this 0. That's your 0. That basically is 3.7 cents. If we were to go all the way down with an ABC correction and lose that level, that resets the whole count. You're back to square one effectively, and that's not what we want to do. We want to correct for the next impulsive wave. Okay, that's what we want to do, and potentially we're not gonna see a clean break of 9 cents, because right now we're lingering around 9 cents. We're still testing 9 cents, and maybe we will close the month above 9 cents. Maybe that's next week, or maybe not. And then potentially you have a little pullback, which will be your correction for the explosion, for the next wave, the wave 3. The wave 3 is going to be the explosive wave, and you just have to see how it corrects. That will be the wave 1 complete. Then you have a wave 3. Okay, and potentially you could get into a situation where you have another red week, maybe 2 red weeks. We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. I think I don't want to see us lose this bull market line where we've had a reaction. Okay, I don't really want to see us lose that. Everything is possible in the markets. You can't. No one can predict the future. So let me have a look at the deeper correction, full fib log. And then if I get my fib time back up, not that one, the wave 1, the EW I had before, this one, from the 0 to the 3 to the 4 on 12th of April. Thereabouts. If we do correct after we put in a 5, Bitcoin corrects, we go down for another A, B, C. Now there is a bullish harmonic here, but for this bullish harmonic to play out, you have to lose that pivot at 4. Again, I'll be back in 2 minutes, and I'm gonna go over that idea as well. So sorry. Maybe a 1-to-1. I don't know. Let me have a look. A 1-to-1 of this move. What would that look like? No, it's just to take us right back up to there. If we have a red day today and then another green day, I think then potentially that's it. Potentially on this move. 1, 2, 3. That'd be quite expansive too. So I'm potentially thinking slightly less. And I think that's going to have everything to do with Bitcoin. And when Bitcoin is finally correcting or starting to look weak or pushing into some kind of resistance, maybe the altcoins can move a little bit and then they'll bleed back into Bitcoin potentially. And then we have this ABC correction. The question then is going to be, how do we support and defend these this low? Yeah, because we don't want to lose. Honestly, I don't think we want to lose this bull market trend line. I think if you come back and test it again, you could potentially end up then you can have an impulse 1. Then you can really impulse. Then you can start impulsing for the impulse for the third wave. Let me just have a look at these harmonics. See if I can find some kind of harmonic which could match. Harmonics are really subjective. They're not. It's not easy. It's not easy to trade harmonics, but maybe there is a harmonic. Let me see. Oh, I don't like this image. Let me find a better image. This is better. An M would be bullish, but for an M to work, you have to take out the B. The B is there. It'd be very bullish, but you have to take out the B, and you're basically looking at a cipher. Be a very deep correction, and you are losing this bull market band. If you go up there, you have a really sharp correction, and you're coming all the way down to there. You're taking out pivot 4. You're coming all the way back down to 4. You're losing the 5.5 cent mark. You're losing a lot of support lines. It'd be a really red sell off. And effectively you're forming a cipher. You see that? A cipher. If that was to happen, that's, I don't know what just happened. You'd basically have red, like a sell-off all the way down to there. It'd be like lots of red candles, and then you have a bullish impulse which would take us out. It would look really bearish to lose that bull market line. It would look really bearish to suddenly lose 5 cents. It would look really bearish. It's not something that I would enjoy. And with the momentum now, if you look at the 50 moving average, you're basically heading down to this 200 moving average. Maybe by that pivot, you'd be losing the 50, you'd come back down to the 200 for an explosion as BTC bottoms out. And that would complete this harmonic idea. If that was to play out, it would be bullish, but it would be brutal. It would be very brutal. So I'm not enjoying it. Let me draw it out though, just so that we're prepared for something that may or may not happen in the future. That it's this cipher pattern. The B, arguably the B should be higher, actually. The B is quite low. It should be up there. So I'm not really thinking it's going to happen, actually. I'm not really crazy about it. I was to take that to the 1. Is there anything there? No. There's nothing really there. Yeah, I'm not crazy about this, to be honest with you. But that would potentially be a cipher. And I'm not crazy about it all. I think we'd be losing too many support lines. That being said, this move up was quite impulsive. If you lose this area here of consolidation, then we probably will kind of fill the volume gap here quite quickly, and you're back into 5.5 cents to test it one more time. It's very possible. You know, everything is possible. And so all I'm doing is preparing us for future possibilities. That's all. But maybe the best pickup would be the golden pocket of this move. If we have a pullback, you can see on the local time frame, these moving averages are kind of going sideways now. And so probably they're waiting for the momentum to carry us. That's the 50 moving average. I mean, the 50 moving average is probably a really good place to pick up this token if we see a pullback, yeah. And maybe by the time we come down, if we go up and come down, maybe we can do that again. I don't necessarily think that this test is over, actually. Like, I wanted more of an impulse, and this, for me, that wasn't enough. The fact that we've come back underneath this previous high is not amazing. It's not amazing. I think the candle is, this previous candle is bullish, but what you would expect now is a continuation, and we're not seeing that impulsive buy up, yeah. So I mean, I bought last night here. I didn't market buy, I just put limit orders, and the price is back up. But I'm not seeing a crazy buy up right now. And then also I can see these big red volumes, red. And that's very, and I haven't seen that. The only time I saw that was here in these lows. But that's just telling me that people who bought are just selling. You know, they're not holding. They're not hodling. The higher, they're selling. And that's really the reason why the price is coming down. You're not getting a continuation of buying. Now you're getting enough price increase for people to sell into that, and they're just selling into that, which is pulling the price down. Okay, that's what's happening right now. So we're going to have a really bullish April, but it's possibly going to happen towards the end of April, because Dtravel are going to be launching the Traveler app with the search engine, the consumer facing search engine. So possibly the next dip is going to be the last chance to pick this token up at sub 9 prices. Possibly it could be the last chance. Yeah, it's possible. And hopefully if we do go back down, we will hold support somewhere on this trend line, and if we lose it, then you'll know that we're going back up. If we just reclaim it, that will be a sign of strength following a sign of weakness. But we have to see how that plays out. The other thing that I was looking at on this is this GAN fan that I've got marked out. And so actually you look at that, we lost it, we reclaimed it. Probably we're going to come back to test it, probably. I wouldn't be surprised if we back test it. And I think if you look here, we had the same kind of idea. Look, we couldn't get through. We tried to get above, couldn't. Tried to get above, couldn't. Tried to get above, lost it. Finally, after how many tries? And then look at that. Almost perfect. That was a back test. So I'm not necessarily, I wouldn't be surprised if we do come back to test this higher time frame 3-1 GAN now that we've crossed it. And it wouldn't be unusual to fall back into it somehow. And then when Bitcoin corrects finally, we can start our wave 1 of 3. That would be the wave 1 of 3, and we're just looking for, then we'd just be looking for an ABC correction here, right into our area of interest, which would probably be about, based on this idea that I have right now, there you go, look at that, right there. That's X marks the spot. Let me change it to that. Who knows about fib time? I'm imagining it could be a bit earlier. It could be a bit later. I'm basing it from here to here to here, from the 0 to the 3 to the 4. It's on the daily time frame. I prefer higher time frame fib times. I'm not crazy about local time frame fib times. Okay. But I do think that if we do end up coming into this area exactly on the 20th of April, golden pocket, back test of that GAN, back test of this trend line, what price are we looking at? 6.8. Let me get rid of that now. Let me see if I can find anything else that could interest us. Hold on. Delete this stuff. Unless we hold, we'd have to hold 9 cents now. That's the thing. Like, the correction doesn't have to be deep. It can be flat, but you literally have to hold 9 cents. You just have to, while Bitcoin corrects, you would have to go flat. This would just have to go flat. Yeah, that will be more bullish if we have a flat correction here, but I, you know, like people aren't putting limit orders to hold the price up. People are just waiting for the dip to buy the dip, waiting for the dip to buy the dip. We're not getting that kind of FOMO yet, where people are so desperate to buy this token that they'll put large limit orders, and where the price just it struggles to get down. Then you get when Bitcoin corrects, getting a flat correction. Apologies, I'm getting more drop frames. 62%. That sucks. Anyway, I'll continue. If that would be really bullish. If Bitcoin corrects and this goes flat, that just tells you that there's a lot of demand at higher prices. If we see that, then this is gonna go, this is gonna be invalidated, and this correction will be slightly different. So let me just see if I can find any more confluence on this correction. If we do see that correction, I just want us to be prepared for it. It's not going to be bearish if we hold support. It's never bearish if you hold support. If you lose 9 cents, of course, that's not pleasant, but it just means you're just coming back for one more test lower down and possibly filling this volume gap that's been created in this push up. It's still not going to look bearish if we come down and do that. It'll still look good. I'm not like, effectively what you're creating is some kind of flat top triangle which will have an explosive breakout. If you can contemplate, let me just do it on the 3-day chart, it might be easier to see. And then let me just change that to drawings, wave to HTF correction. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, that this 3-day candle, whatever, let's say you have a line there, wherever the line is, if you do correct, you're just creating a flat top triangle, and then it's actually really bullish. You know, it's really bullish to create a higher time frame flat top triangle. I had a teacup and handle idea. I did say I wasn't fond of it just because I wanted to see more of a rounded teacup rather than just a sharp teacup. So I'm not crazy about that idea anymore, and potentially this is better, and it's still in line with the higher time frame Adam and Eve pattern that I have, which is that V shape followed by this rounding bottom. It still kind of fits into that idea. So probably we have to hold this trend line. And maybe we are forming a higher time frame flat top triangle. Let me just see if I can find any more confluence that would help us have this level as a support level. We've got this golden pocket, we've got the trend line, and we've got this back test of this scan line. Weekly level there, that's slightly higher. You have a Let me do a volume range pull as well and see what the volume is suggesting. Maybe the volume has changed. There you go. It's slightly higher, but you have the value area high of the overall volume range, slightly higher. You'd have to lose the value area high and then reclaim it. We have back tested it. So you could wick down. It could be like a wick down, and maybe on a daily time frame it will just be a little wick all the way down, but actually you're holding that volume area. Let me just have a look and see if there's any change. Yeah, you see the value area high is slightly up, that's bullish. But the value area to move slightly up, that's quite bullish. Just adjust that, it's not correct. Let me see what it's like on 760. What have I got it as? 68. Let me try 70. Let me see what 70 is. Is there any difference? It's slightly high. No. And keep it on 68. That's fine. What would that be with connection? What's the fib? Let me do a full fib. The 50% mark comes to the value area high. There are some areas of interest here, you know, like, but that's, for me, that's X marks the stop spot. You can clearly see it's X marks the spot, just as Bitcoin is halving roughly. Alright, I'm just going to go to the higher time frame now and just see if there's anything else interesting. It's give or take, but you have like a weekly level here, slightly higher than the value area, and I'm actually suggesting it could go all the way down to here. What does it look like on the monthly time frame? That candle there. It's like a historic monthly level. That's a historic monthly level. Which you have a little test of the candle there. I'm going to rename it. And it's slightly lower. Look at the weeklies. You have an old weekly there as well, look there. Yeah, probably the bottom of that red doji. That one there. It's an old weekly level. Slightly higher. It's not exactly where we want it. But I mean, you can see here that there was an area of support and resistance. Potentially, you see this candle. There's a little SR flip going there. Pierce down. Could we come back in one more time to test it? But I like fibs, and I'm not seeing crazy fibs. That's the problem. Okay, so you have a little bit of a back test. All right, so this is actually much better. It goes back to the idea that I suggested before, where you have a back test of the golden pocket. We've come down, we've cleared it. All right, so this is actually really okay. This is the best one, I think. Let me remove that. All right, that's actually okay. I like that. So from this pivot to the all-time low, if you do a golden pocket on the log time frame, on the log scale rather, you can see that we came above the golden pocket, we lost the golden pocket, we're back above the golden pocket. So if we could get, without getting a crazy sell-off, too crazy a sell-off, we can get a nice test here to back test that 618 and hold it as support with that 3-1 GAN and with that trend line. Then we could probably explode out. That would be my area of support that needs to hold. I don't know how that fits into my Wyckoff idea, so I'm going to have a look at that now. Clearly the lowest point of support was around here. Which we've tested. And maybe one more test a bit higher up. We're just going to see if we can hold that support line. We can back test that golden pocket, the inverse, the reverse side of that golden pocket, and hold it as support. It would require us to come back into the value area high. That's not crazy good, but let me see how that looks on the other exchanges as well. What is all this? Let me just get rid of these. What was the level? Let me have a look at all of them actually. Just have a look at all the volumes to see if there's any kind of anything interesting. Yeah. That was KuCoin. Oh yeah, I wanted to have a look at the Wyckoff schematic that I had. Let's see what that's saying. We still haven't had the buy up, so that's what we want. Next one will be the buy up, and then you have to push out. And so actually maybe the wave one is something like this. That's your wave one. This is your wave two. Which is good because you have a really rubbish wave one. It means the wave three is going to be bigger. And I actually think the wave five is going to probably be the biggest. Because if you have your wave three, which is a sign of strength, you have a small wave one, a nice wave three, and then a really impulsive wave five. That would be your impulsive wave. Potentially, let me just have a look at